Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're going to do baked pasta. I'm going to do a sausage and rigatoni sort of baked up deal. Something I really like to make. I don't make it that often, but something I really enjoy. So I've got a pan here and I'm just going to make a really quick tomato sauce with the sausage. Got some olive oil in, I'm going to put in the onion. And I just want to sort of saute this onion until it starts to get a little bit translucent. While that's happening, I have some of our homegrown garlic, and this is spring garlic, so it hasn't quite formed a bulb here down at the bottom. It's more like an onion at this point, but it has that full-on garlic flavor. So I'm just going to slice up just until I kind of get to the green part. Earlier on in the spring, I would have chopped up the entire thing, but as we're getting into the second third of May, it starts to get a little bit bitter. That's not to say you can't use it. I still may use this for something else in the kitchen, probably tomorrow. So I'm going to add these in with the onions. Give that a bit of a stir. And now I'm going to put in just a little bit of oregano and some hot red pepper flakes. And just to warm those up before I put the sausage in. It's coming along nicely. Now, this is a piece of our homemade sausage. Julie and I make it a couple times a year. And if you look back on the channel, you'll see a really old video of us making it. So I just want to take the casing off because I just want the meat in the pan. Into the pot. And I want to break that up and fry it until it's a little bit brown. And you really want to break it up. You want just tiny little pieces of sausage in this pasta dish. Now you could use any kind of sausage you want. I'm using this because it's homemade and it's the one we really like. And I think that should be the only criteria. Use a sausage that you like. And if that isn't an Italian sausage, so be it. Use what you want to eat. So this is a fresh sausage. It needs to be cooked. And we've been making this one for years. In July, we're going to take delivery of a dry ager. Now the dry ager cabinet is made in Germany and it's for dry aging meat. It's a commercial unit for dry aging meat. And I'm going to get that and start playing with doing dry aged meats, but we're also going to do a bunch of dry cured sausage recipes. And I want to explore sausage from all over the world. So if you think you'd be interested in learning how to make those, leave a comment down below letting me know what you're thinking of and what you want to see, what kind of sausage you'd like me to make, because I'm really excited to get going on this. Next in, this is some passata, which is just pretty much a strained pureed tomato. And I don't know that I'm going to use the whole jar. I'm probably going to start it with about half. And I like that it's in a jar with a lid because I can put it back in the fridge and keep it for later. Now, I'm going to put in some tomatoes as well. There we go. Looking good. Now, I just want to cook these down and get all those flavors to come together. Now, always check your spicing. It's great to have a thing of spoons at the side. And then decide if you need more salt, maybe a little bit of black pepper. You want to put in some more red pepper flakes, a little more oregano, a little more garlic. Always be tasting as you're making stuff. So a little bit more black pepper and some salt. Now you've seen me do this before. This is one of our home pickled hot peppers from our garden. I like to crush one up, dice one up, whatever, and throw it into any sauce that I'm making. Two reasons. It adds a lot of flavor, it adds some heat, but also the vinegar that it's pickled in adds some acidity and brightens the whole dish up. And I know that people are going to say, but tomatoes are already acidic. Yeah, it's kind of the same, but it's a little bit different. And I find that this really brightens the flavor. I just give it a rough chop, seeds and all, and take the top away and into the pot. I've got a pot of salted boiling water here, and I think it's time to put the rigatoni in. Now, we're not going to cook the rigatoni all the way through, maybe halfway, maybe even a little less than halfway. You just want to start that cooking process and get some of the starch off the outside, just so that the final dish isn't too clodgy. While the pasta's cooking, I'm going to slice up this mozzarella. Now, I wouldn't normally use a dry mozzarella like this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this style of mozzarella. I would just normally use one that is fresh, that's packed in water, that you can squeeze it apart with your fingers. This is a much drier mozzarella, pizza mozzarella, a lot of people call it. Nothing wrong with it. But when I went to the store this past weekend, this was the one that was available. COVID. Thanks, COVID. So I'm going to use it. And instead of just sort of squishing it with my fingers into the bowl, I'm going to slice it up into chunks and mix those in. Okay, I'm going to say the pasta is done. So drain out as much as I can. And it doesn't really matter too much because I'm probably going to add water into the pasta sauce later anyway. So we mix this together. And the idea is that you kind of want to get sauce and sausage all down inside the rigatoni. Next, I'm going to mix in some ricotta. Now, I hear you. You could use cottage cheese. Totally 100%. Go ahead and use cottage cheese if you want to. I often stand at the dairy case in the grocery store and look at the price difference between the two products, ricotta and cottage cheese, and think, is this really 3, 4, 5 times the amount of flavor? Because it's 3, 4, 5 times the amount of cost for ricotta to cottage cheese. And for the most part, I don't know that it really is. So decide for yourself which one you want to use. If it's a flavor preference, go right ahead, use whatever. And I usually mix in half a tub first, just to kind of get it distributed, and then come back and put the rest in. And I will save a scoop for myself. I really like fresh cheeses. So once I get this all mixed together, I'm going to start lining the bottom of this baking dish with the pasta. So put in a layer, smooth it out, and then some of that mozzarella that I cubed up, we just put in a layer of that at the same time. Now totally, you could shred this cheese if you wanted to shred it. And if you're using the fresh one, just kind of squeeze it out between your fingers and spread it around. Now, we put in the rest of the pasta. Spread it out. You don't really need to smooth it. You kind of want little pieces jagging up every once in a while. And then we top it off with the last little bit of cheese. Last of the mozzarella. And then a little bit of Parm or Pecorino on top. Parmesan or Pecorino, your choice. I don't want to say that I use them interchangeably in my kitchen because I know that will anger some people, but I pretty much use them interchangeably in my kitchen. On days when I want a different flavor, I'll just mix it up and change them. Now, oven is preheated, and I've got a baking tray in the oven on top of the shelf. And I'm going to cook this on top of the baking tray because it will bubble over. Hey, Jules.
Hello, Glenn. Hello, friends.
The first scoop, not pretty.
It never is.
No.
You know?
No, never is. Oh, here.
It's a big scoop, though.
I really like the crunchy bits around the outside. I know some people say, "Oh, that's burnt," but to me, I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Smells good.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Could be hot. Mm-hmm. Pure comfort food. Huh?
Tastes good.
Yeah. I mean,
it's pasta, tomato, cheese.
A little bit of our homemade sausage.
What? You know?
And, I didn't go too heavy on any of the herbs and spices on this. So you can go anywhere you want with it. But it's the kind of dish that is easy to put together and is great tomorrow for lunch.
It is a good next day lunch snack.
So, tell us what you put in your baked pasta down below. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.